I wanted to make a quick video on the importance of stop losses, but sticking to a plan, but also just planning out your trades, I think is quite important. So, yeah, this is really for me to refer back to for stop losses because I had a few positions here that are quite interesting. So I just wanted to touch upon them because sometimes theoretically we get an idea of a stop loss is important, whether it's an actual stop loss or like a mental stop loss. Having one is really important before you take the trade. So if I actually just start with what I have in my so this is my trader sync, and I have when I'm assigning like a strategy to a trade, I tend to look at this before I take it, and because it's being consistent, I think is really important, and this has really reminded me why it is so important. So I try to identify where I think is a good entry. I look to see, well, what is actually my target, and where would I exit and add to that position. And one of the most important ones for me is define where is my mental stop loss, and where to add, and then trading. Just remind myself, am I trading what I see, not necessarily what I think? Like, oh, it's you know, Bitcoin's going to the moon, Meta's going to the moon. That's kind of a think. Oh, Meta had good news. I think it's going to go up. What does the price action actually tell us? So these are my different strategies. But if just focusing on the breakout, and all of these have this trade management section, is define that mental stop loss. So I just want to highlight a trade where I did not do that. Okay, to start with. So this was a costly one, and sometimes you have to learn, I think, a painful lesson, especially when I have a small account, a painful lesson on two things: why you shouldn't follow other people's trades and really have your own thesis about this, because I think I've been saying maybe in clips that healthcare sector sucks. It's one of the weakest sectors at the moment, but this is really strong potential healthcare going into this trade here. So it was a breakout trade. I thought, oh, this is nice, potentially hitting to all-time high, but we can see it's twice it's been there. But I liked this, and I liked going into it. Like, look at that, really nice candle coming up to it. And obviously, what I was thinking was, don't, maybe pull back. But at that point, I was going to be out here. I wasn't planning on sticking around very long. But what ended up happening was I took the trade on. Let me have a look. When was it? I deleted all the picture bits that I had to, but it's just a great reminder why it's so important. So actually June the 30th, so actually on the breakout. So what I would usually do is wait for confirmation, see this level, excuse me, tested, and then gonna go from there. But I didn't go into this with a stop loss. I had a long dated position, so I think it was around this point here, but it was a straight call. I don't trade straight calls. It's dumb strategy. For me, because I'm still learning, and it's I usually do spreads or shares. So I just got a bit frustrated, a bit greedy, and it's why it's so important to have a stop loss. So I didn't for this. So what ended up happening was, you can see what happened the next day. Absolutely crushed. Like that is we can look back on this retrospective and be like, that is a beastie rejection. And you could look to that next day here and be like, let me just scroll for the 30-minute. Even let me just get across. But there's nothing clear like that. Is a clear that has been rejected. So even if you didn't exit here, right, you've got to like bam and then whack back down. I think I should have used the previous low, so kind of around here potentially of this day. Let's be like, nope, it didn't work. Perfectly cool. That's exit. But because I didn't have a clear plan, I basically was just kept trying to make it up on the spot, and it's just impossible to do that with so much emotions involved. And you've got other stuff going on in personal life as well. It just makes it really difficult to do so. So I just tortured myself this whole time, waiting, hoping really that this trade was going to come back, but it's done, right? It's no way in the space of 2 weeks. Very unlikely. It's not high probability anymore that it will come back. So it was a poor trade. It was a poor trade and it cost me quite a lot. And I could have been out pretty quickly here with a loss. Fine, we can move on. So applying that lesson for me was really important. So I had a position in Meta that I took, and you can see the red line was like, so after this BSX trade, I was like, okay, that was a painful lesson, and I need to learn to apply the trade management strategy that I have. I know it's important. That's why it's in my spreadsheet before I tick off a trade. So this is an example of what I want to happen. So this was a loser. Like this lost me money as well. Let me just get the specific dates because again I've cleared out some screens for this, but it was on July the 10th. So where is July the 10th? 10th. So here was July 10th. So let me just narrow it down to 15-minute. Was here. I was looking on this kind of. There was some news I think that came out with Meta as well. I believe it was this date about data center stuff as well. But again, I was playing a pullback and then a push off this level. But the stock didn't work out, right? I maybe could have had a tighter stop, but had here, and again, I wasn't really happy with my risk reward either. So overall, it was a poor trade because the risk reward was not right. So again, these are real losses that you have to learn from. So I had the loss here at like a clean break below is what I called it, the 15 EMA. So I didn't take it here because I was like, okay, I will wait to see if we get that clean break because you can usually see Meta has actually bounced quite nicely or not been below that 15 EMA for quite a long period of time. And what usually happens is you get a nice bounce off and then carry on. So what I was expecting was, oh, maybe we'll get a nice bounce off and we'll carry on. But this here itself is a warning sign because it was pretty relatively strong and then it lost all that strength. So the sellers push that back down. Not what we want to see for a breakout, right? We want to see this boing, or even just like this. We just want to claw our way back, right? To get above that. So if this was a solid candle, I would be like, okay, that's good, that's fine. What ended up happening was this day kind of happened, and because I have my clear stop loss, and I usually give the stock a chance to come back, so I don't just ping it straight there. So I may have put a note here. I wonder what that note says actually. Let's have a look. Yeah, so again, looking at that guide, and so yeah, just reminding myself of that. Will it recover, basically? And the answer to that was no, it did not recover. So I saw this here, back to here, but I'm like, okay, we're finding support at the 15, that's pretty solid. But then towards the end of the day, you can just see it broke below here, it's going down, I'm out, right? I'm done at that point. And I'm really proud of myself that I stuck to that. That's what's really important for me. I stuck to that to be like, and you could be like, oh, well, I still think it might bounce, might do this. Or maybe the market's on our side, it will pull back. It was a bit of a bearish trend day in the market that day. Sorry, yeah, bearish trend day. Maybe we'll bounce back, probably, most likely, we're bullish. Didn't happen. And I respected this move because look where I'd be the next day again. Like, and then I would probably be thinking, oh, well, maybe it will pull back, it's gone quite far, the market's still bullish, and then how long until how much of a loss do you take basically before you're like, I'm wrong? So what I was really happy about this is took that, the breakout didn't work, the risk reward sucks, wasn't a good position. But what that enabled me to do, and I think it's really important with trading, is you learn your lessons and you apply it to the next thing. And then the process was I picked nearly 3 great trades, right? So the one that's I forgot to put it on here, but Palantir. I took Palantir because I was looking for a similar thing on Palantir. Bit wary of this candle here, of course, but I took a small position. And when did I get into Palantir? Palantir. I got in Palantir on the July the 7th, and I kept adding to it on this move. So I got in here, what time was that? Sometime in the afternoon, basically. But I just took a small position in here, and if it didn't work out below the 15 EMA I had, it closed below that, I'd be happy. No, okay, this move pushed up. I like that. That's a nice move. It broke the high here and finished up there. I like it. Add to it. Same again here. Another great entry here. Add to it. Lovely. Patience, patience. I ended up actually taking profit on this candle because I think it reached an all-time high at that point. But that's a nice candle. But what I would usually do, but I did not in this scenario, is I'd leave a runner on. So if I had 10 shares of Palantir, I would just leave 2 or 3 shares, just to be like, yeah, I've got good gains in here. If it rejects off that and forms a bit of a bearish candle, or not hopefully to that degree, but if we get a rejection off, we can be like, okay, didn't work out, but overall we're taking good profit. But if you leave a runner on, keep going. Like, no reason to exit. This ascending kind of trend line here is still intact. That would probably be my exit if it closes below that. But it's learning those lessons from the trading. That's what I just really want to embed into my mind. And frustratingly, it always takes a painful lesson for that to actually happen. Because what ended up happening was, after that Meta trade, the BSX trade, and also, sorry, actually, I did have a third example, was Reddit. Exact same thing with Reddit. Let me just get my entry timing in Reddit. July the 14th. 10, 11, 14. So here, again, playing the same sort of thing, but a shit trade because the volume was not there in Reddit. It was not there, right? When we look at Palantir, these other ones, they have good volume behind their reversals. And I was hoping for an AVWAP support here. What did I say, 14th? Didn't hold it. And again, my definitive close was below that level. So, zoom in, sorry, this is not the best to see. If I just put in, this line here, we can kind of see entered here. Okay, we bounced off that. That's interesting. But then we closed pretty much right on it. And I was like, okay, that sucks. And then, yeah, we cracked down here. I'm not going to sell down here because I'm going to give the stock a chance to pull back. But I closed at the end of the day on the 17th. 17th, yep. And yeah, yes, it rallied, but to be fair, it was the market that kind of dragged it up, really. So, it's showing weakness in here, obviously. Weakness, well, this was the next day. But yeah, I just wasn't really happy with the stock. And I'm like, you know what? We're back up to here. It's not far off my entry price. I only had a small position because I was hoping to add at this line and probably take profit at this line. But again, proud of myself and happy with myself that I had clear goals of what I was trying to achieve. And if it didn't work out, I really like this mindset of if it didn't work out, you can just take that money and reallocate it to something that will work out and will work. And I think I mentioned in this one on my previous video about having an area nearby that says to yourself, oh, I fucked up here. I'm wrong. Like, I don't want to mess around with this anymore. I'm done. Like, I want Reddit to go do 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 do. I want Meta to go do 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 do. This is not what I want. This is not what I want. I'm wrong. Didn't work out. Maybe it'll come back, but we saw Meta kept going. And Reddit, okay, nice. I would be happy to reevaluate Reddit, but I'm not prepared to hoard below this, to wait for it to come back and reallocate my capital elsewhere rather than sitting in a shitty losing position. So that's what I like thinking about now is, well, actually, I can make this money work much better for me. And I'd be happy to reevaluate Meta, to be honest. Reddit. It's over this point. It's got some support underneath it. It's potentially a good option. Let's just roll that to, yeah. So that's that. Just put it there on the breakout. So yeah, potential. We can always get back in. But again, I was able to reallocate that money from Meta into AEVA, and unfortunately I missed AESTS because I think I was in those other crappy positions. Yeah, 14th. Except the 17th, wasn't it? But I did manage to have positions INOQ and AEVA. So yeah, it's just a good reminder of why having stop loss and those sorts of bits are important, because it enables you to reallocate your money elsewhere, like Palantir. This is why I don't like stop losses sometimes, or take profit orders, because I also had a CNC position that was bearish, and I was like, I'm just going to hold that until. And my thesis was, I think, above this red line, so I think I took it here. CNC, where is CNC? July the 8th. I took it, but so around here. And so my thesis, this was my next one, was like, if it closes above that, I'll just exit for a small loss. Fine. No worries. Clear plan for a stop loss. And I exited on the 14th. 14th, 11th, 12th, 14th. So I basically fucked up my order, and I ended up taking profit here by accident. This is why I hate bloody automatic orders sometimes. I just like to review it myself and take it. I appreciate it can sometimes save you having an automatic order. If you get a bit of a whack, that whacks you down. But it's getting that balance right, isn't it, between those things? Because I would still be in it. I would be no reason to exit CNC, right? Riding that 3 EMA, nowhere near. So if we get a big gap down, maybe I'll take some off. I would take some off, but I would have been adding around here. I could have got back in, to be honest. But yes. So yeah, just a reminder to myself that having a plan is part of that discipline. And we spend a lot of mental energy on losses, watching losses, fretting over what to do with them, and in the process we're losing out on opportunities that are appearing, right? Losing out opportunities like ASTS. This is a winner, fantastic. If it didn't work out, because this is where I was going to enter, I would just have to stop down here. Easy, right? Great risk to reward ratio. If that doesn't work out, maybe lose $1 and a bit, but look how much you would have made in the process. Can leave a runner on, fantastic. Left a runner on for IONQ. Can't say it then, but I've left a runner on for that, so I've taken some profit up here, which I mentioned in my previous video, and I've left a runner. Just gonna see how it goes. Maybe it'll keep going. If it rejects off that and engulfs it, I can be like, oh, I've still come out with a profit, but you have to take it educated. So leaving a runner on is just pretty useful. So that's just what I want for stop losses, and I want to hopefully refer back to this video if I fuck up again, but hopefully I won't. And you have to learn these lessons, I think, for a bit of pain sometimes to give you the lessons from them. So, all right, that's me done, ranting away. Have a great week trading, everyone.